Hi friends, so this is patch 3.11 Harvest League. So I played Volatile Dead Spellslinger, just sort of to look at some of the gear and stuff before we go in and fight Sirus. Get a decently nice one. Could be a little better, you know. Like there's still something to do with the suffix, like probably, but you know, on the balance, decently solid. Just using Crown of the Inward Eye. All this gear was sort of like group self-found. There were like 5 or 6 people total in the private league. My awkward amulet. I tried for Quant and did not get Quant. Beyond that, just a fairly sort of mixed defense offense shield. You'll notice that I had a lot of problems finding life seeds. Just elemental damage ring. Got a flam ring. This could obviously be like these could be warlords. Like, got some hunter boots. Missing a chaos suffix because I can't find a chaos seed. But like, this character's pretty nice, so it doesn't really matter. The gloves are actually very nice. The dex plus a whole bunch of energy shield, which I use with Soul Tether. And then an explodey chest with a whole bunch of T1 mods on it, and then a bad life roll. Because, of course, right? Okay, cat, please get down. Chi is sort of a recurring theme. Whenever I start talking, she's like, oh man, I want to participate. So, anyways, build. Let's look over the passive tree. This is, again, level 96, so mostly just focusing on, got spell block, a bunch of life, you know, Lord of the Dead because we're doing spiritual aid. I'm still on EO. Yeah, I know. Get a cluster jewel that's decently nice. It's a Doriani's Lesson and Sadist. So Doriani's Lesson basically gives me life leech on my elemental stuff, and then Sadist is a bunch of additional elemental damage. So you can see here, leech, and damage if we've applied status effects, and then just some very basic like curse stuff because I've got auto apply flammability, so that means Evil Eye and Master of Fear are on for blind and unnerve. Life Wheel, we don't actually take the last point in sovereignty because I don't have the colors for elemental focus. If I was using elemental focus, I would need to take sovereignty. Spiritual Aid, Righteous Army. Hey look, it's a bunch of elemental damage. Onslaught and Blind, and a bunch of life and energy shield. Hey look, more life. You know, none of this stuff is particularly impressive. I'm still on glancing. I could technically spec out of it, but I'd be at like 55% block because the shield doesn't have any spell block and is like a non-blocky base. It's the titanium one. So, like, if I were a real boy, this would be gone, or I'd have like a life on block shield. But it just honestly, this build is so stupid it hasn't really mattered. Chunk of the Scion Life Wheel. Just, you know, your random life ES damage of a time isn't actually doing anything here. Like, I could augment fire on this and potentially get like fire damage or something useful, but again, yeah. So I'm using escalation over the 5th endurance charge. I think that's probably a mistake, but you know, we're using call to arms. So when I just run around.
When I'm ready and not before.
Whoops. I forgot to put D&D on. Oh well. So yeah, just this is a completely bog standard Volatile Dead Spellslinger. Silly things. I'm just using Essence Glutton instead of Commander of Darkness because I don't need the resist, and the mana is nice. I'm if you notice the rings, right? The rings are, depending on life and chance, Well, that one isn't, but the other one is. So they're depending on life enchants, and then that means that we don't have Elrion enchants to cut down the mana cost of our frenzy. And because I was a doofus and tried to turn this into a talisman, it's corrupt, and so I can't change the fire and chaos of it. Speaking of chaos, now we're still not LA Week capped or anything. Like, again, this was group found gear. It's soft core. I don't need to be like super crazy about it. The chaos resist should be substantially higher. Like, the chaos resist would be capped as soon as I found an augment chaos for the boots, but it just hasn't happened yet. So yeah, that's the build. So, you know, Awakener 8.
Need a map?
Cat is being usual cat self. Got a staunching flask, just, you know, your usual. Wise Oak is actually really nice on this build because you get fire pen. I'm not perfectly Wise Oaked balanced, obviously, but I'm oaked enough that I get the fire pen and get the extra damage. I guess I should probably talk about the skills before I go in. Just whatever. This is just for posterity, anyways. So cast while damage taken, increased duration steel skin is just sort of your standard defensive link these days. Now that they nerfed Immortal Call and Molten Shell. Spellslinger, Spell Cascade, Desecrate means corpses spawn, and then Volatile Dead, Detonate Dead means the corpses blow up. And then we're just using Hypothermia, Inspiration, Spellslinger, and Spell Cascade to get a whole lot of casts. So you see these balls spawning. Each time these balls spawn, they also pop a corpse. So Detonate Dead does a bunch of damage when you pop a corpse. Volatile Dead does a smaller amount of damage when you pop the corpse, plus spawned a ball that goes and seeks out stuff. Spectres are there because they put a ton of hit points into the corpse pool from Desecrate. So my Volatile Dead and Detonate Dead, both of which do a bunch of damage off of corpses, do a lot more damage. Frenzy with Barrage support and Inspiration just cause the attacks to trigger. And then we've just got your sort of standard shield charge, faster attacks, fortify, node, with Enduring Cries in there. Enduring Cries not benefiting from most of it. But Enduring Cry just gives you a shitload of health regen and endurance charges. So that's really nice. So yeah, time to go make a fool of myself fighting a fight that I haven't fought in like 2 months plus, but I wanted to record this for posterity. Please get down, cat. Yes, I know, boring and small.
Did you really think this would work?
Sirus, please, we want to help you. Don't do anything hasty.
Scritch, scritch, scritch.
Is as easy as flicking a pen.
Hopefully the sound on my mic is a little better. I picked up a new mic in the 4 months since the last time I did one of these. My poor Cyclone champion that died like 4 times, if I remember correctly. It was just sort of a big old cluster. The gear is not nearly as nice as the Cyclone champion was, obviously. Like, that's probably the most geared a character I'm going to have is going to get, sadly. But hey, okay, here we go. So one other thing of note, I don't have Val Detonate Dead, and I don't have Culling Strike, so some of my normal crutches for this are not present. Get on into the arena here. Whoop. So you can see sort of the innate tankiness of the build there. Like, you know, I can just use Enduring Cry to come back. And so you can see that the Volatile Dead and Detonate Dead, like, this is not like amazing damage by any stretch of the imagination, but it's substantially better than it has any right to be. You know, obviously, like, normal real damage builds are insta-phasing him here and are laughing at me, but whatever, that's fine. Okay, so he's coming out. Remember when I was like doing the Guardian and learning the fight and like so desperate, like, oh man, how do I do this? Oh, don't stand in the Jishan, bad armor, quickly. Down. Because we have Soul Tether, we can just sort of like leech up through the fireballs, so hanging out there isn't nearly as like silly as it sounds. Oh, the world's easiest maze. Okay, phase 2. So again, see the shadows up there. It's a little close. I'm not super happy with this arena, but it's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. He'll probably mess with me a couple times. I think I could probably just go in, right? I can just go in. Okay, yep. This build is very forgiving, right? Like, you know, I've done... I wasted a Quicksilver, didn't need to waste there. What's the point? Okay, so now the fight gets real, so to speak. This is not great. Well, I guess we're gonna be fighting him on the stairs. Races, I fell alive. Okay, last phase. So let's not embarrass ourselves too badly. Well, any more than I already embarrassed myself. So. Oh, overdashed. That's bad. Oh, he killed my specters. So the goal here really is just not to get stacks. We're very tanky. Get some nice damage in on him here. Oh, and yeah, that was overconfidence. Well, this is why we do what we do. Get my large suns back. Oh, I never really explained the large suns. Okay, so these are specters that are from... Whoops, that's a Bone Stalker. I don't want you. Crush Cloud, got a Blister Lord. Okay, yeah, that was hilariously embarrassing. On all accounts, I had like a bunch of flasks that I wasn't using. I just tanked it with my face. Whatever.
When I'm ready, and not before.
Okay, whoops. Okay, just gotta wait. This will dissipate. Oops. Okay. Well, this is what I get for, as is tradition, raising these. Doing this too late at night. Making stupid mistakes. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But yeah. Which is to say, I did not actually have what I needed to have active. So I couldn't do damage. I like how these always end up being a train wreck. I don't quite know how streamers consistently like interact with their chat and do all the other stuff. The void is up here. Oh, I have 6 stacks. This is softcore, so whatever. I'm being dumb. Yeah, you can see. Oh, whatever. It's a accurate rendition of highly sophisticated gameplay in action. But seriously, I probably should have done a test run before I did this, but it's okay. We will just be less dumb. Which is possible to do. You know, we have flame dashes and there's other... See, like, look, this time I learned. Got into the arena. So yeah, anyways. Hilariously embarrassing fight. Obviously, you know, the build is amazing. I am not amazing. Like, real versions of this build, go look up, like, Lady 7's kill, which was, like, the build basically took no damage, and he had, like, real block and all that jazz. So yeah, anyways. That was patch 3.11. My gear is not nearly as absurd as it should be. Whole host of other things, but still lots of fun. Take care, friends.